There are only two kinds of movies really. There are those movies that you watch once, and then there are the movies that you watch twice, or 3 times, or 4 times, or 5. I prefer the second kind. So I was watching my favourite romantic comedy Gone Girl the other day for like the 5th time, and then when it ended I was like,
what the hell?
It explores themes like, for example, how the media is a toxic leech in society that will suck the soul out of anyone in order to get a cheap, catchy headline and push a narrative, rather than telling the truth. Or how sometimes we put on a mask to hide our true selves from others. And on top of all of that, how the movie manages to manipulate the audience into falling for its many manipulative twists and turns. Gone Girl follows a girl that is gone, but more specifically it follows Nick Dunne and his wife Amy Dunne, a seemingly perfect couple living in Missouri. But on the morning of their 5th wedding anniversary, Nick Dunne comes back home, only to find that his wife Amy is missing under suspicious circumstances. Suspicious circumstances that indicate a home invasion, but also a cover-up of one. But due to the nature of the disappearance and the fact that Amy was the foundation for a popular children's book series called Amazing Amy,
your wife is Amazing Amy?
this quickly catches the eye of the local community, but also the media, who leech onto the case as best as they can. As the investigation unfolds, the media and even the public begin to target Ben Affleck. I mean Nick Dunne. As the 2 lead investigators, Rhonda Boney and Jim, uncover evidence that suggests a troubled marriage. But the real giveaway is Nick's odd behaviour and lack of genuine interest in his wife's disappearance, which raise further suspicions, such as smiling like a dummy during his missing wife's press conference and expressing that Amy is complicated.
She's from New York. She's complicated.
Which everyone knows is code for bitch.
Everyone knows complicated is code for bitch.
And also not having any knowledge about his wife's apparent friendship with a neighbour.
Noelle Hawthorne. She lives on your street. Amy's best friend.
I've never heard the name Noel Hawthorne. Noel Hawthorne's fucking crazy. She doesn't even know him.
They look like pretty good friends to me.
And just generally having an upbeat attitude about the whole thing, like a fucking idiot.
I feel like I'm in a Law and Order episode. Da, 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 da.
Like taking this selfie with some bimbo who wants to give him her chicken Frito pie.
Chicken Frito pie. Say chicken Frito pie.
Something that makes Gone Girl really unique is how it uses flashbacks that are actually crucial to this movie's narrative. And through these flashbacks, we see how Nick and Amy meet, and then how their marriage degrades rapidly. When they first meet at some party, it's so special and magical. He even kissed her during a sugar storm.
Can't let you go through a sugar storm unkissed.
And he even has a villainous chin.
My chin?
But even after they get married and things are going well for a while, they get hit badly from the 2008 recession, and things just decline from there, as it exposes holes in their relationship, such as Amy's parents taking out almost all of the money in a trust fund to pay back a publisher, and both Amy and Nick lose their jobs as writers. Amy's trust fund is basically all dried up, both of them are unemployed, and then things go from bad to worse as Nick gets a call from his twin sister, Margot, saying that his mother has stage 4 cancer, and he has to move back to his hometown in Mississippi to take care of her. And then she dies. Turns out Nick has been having an affair this entire time and was even lying to his sister about it.
Year and a half?
You lied to me for over a year?
But it's not just Nick's lack of situational awareness or his infidelity that makes you hate him, as secretly it's really the script and the structure of the story itself that makes you hate him, and his stupid looking chin.
My chin?
And then it's revealed that Nick does not actually want to have a child despite Amy wanting one. And then it's revealed that Nick Dunne is abusive. And then it's revealed that Amy goes to try and buy a gun on Valentine's Day. And then it's revealed that Amy was actually pregnant.
She was pregnant.
And then it's revealed that Nick Dunne has $100,000 in credit card debt.
$117,000 in credit card debt.
What?
And then it's revealed that Nick actually signed to bump up his wife's life insurance.
Well, let's talk about life insurance. Because in April, you bumped up Amy's life insurance to $1.2 million.
Yes, I did. That was her idea. She wanted me to.
You filed the paperwork.
Because she told me to!
And then it's revealed that actually Nick did want to have a kid, but Amy said no.
The truth is, Amy didn't want kids. A year ago, Amy being pregnant would have been the best thing ever!
And then it's revealed that Nick follows the anniversary treasure hunt placed by Amy before her disappearance, which leads to the old woodshed at the back of his sister's house, which contains all of the apparent purchased items from his credit card that he didn't even purchase.
What?
And then the midpoint hits.
I am so much happier now that I'm dead.
And then it's revealed that Amy Dunne faked the entire thing as some twisted revenge plan for Nick's infidelity. And then it's revealed that she befriended a local idiot, faked a pregnancy, drained her blood, splashed it onto the floor, cleaned it up poorly like he would, spent an entire year writing fake journal entries, bought a dummy vehicle, dyed her hair, smoked, bought some donuts and some glasses, and ate nothing but burgers and fries, and changed her entire appearance and moved into the Ozarks to bunker down until this whole thing quiets down. And then it's revealed that she plans to take her own life a week from now, which would frame Nick and make it look like he killed his pregnant wife, which would put him on death row, and he would die via lethal injection as Missouri has the death penalty. It's a lot. Part of what makes Gone Girl so effective as a mystery thriller is how effectively it's effective in tricking the viewer. Effectively.
What?
For example, in these flashback scenes, each one of them opens with Amy Dunne writing a journal, and in each one of them, if you pay close attention to the dialogue, you will notice that it sucks. It's completely different to the rest of the dialogue in the present day scenes, as they are written to play up the rom-com guy meets girl love story. It's cheesy and corny, and this is actually on purpose, as it's Amy who is writing the fake journal entries on fabricated events that she just made up in her mind. Like a complete fucking psychopath. And the way these are implemented into the story paints the perfect picture into transforming the viewer into progressively hating Nick, just as it does with the police and the media within the bounds of the movie story, as each entry gradually manipulates the viewer into hating Ben Affleck. I mean Nick Dunne.
What?
Watching Gone Girl is something like this. You start out being kind of wary of Nick, then questioning Nick, then hating Nick, then idolizing Amy, then hating Amy, then liking Nick, then feeling sad for Amy, then feeling worried for Nick, and then, oh boy, this constant shift in perspective when Amy reveals to the audience what her plan was completely recontextualizes the events that lead up to this point. Ironically, Gone Girl kind of criticizes how easy it can be to be manipulated by the media. In her famous cool girl monologue, you get on her side almost instantly, as you cannot help but admire the insane commitment that Amy dedicated herself to for her massive and literally psychotic revenge plan. I mean, my god, he even made her watch Adam Sandler movies.
I drank canned beer watching Adam Sandler movies.
What a fucking asshole. So thinking about this from a meta perspective, obviously this movie would test its viewer to question their own biases, just as it does some of their characters. Just as the movie itself presents fake information to the audience, the media, and the cops in Gone Girl take the fake evidence as fact and present it to the world without any real thought on the evidence being supposedly presented to them. It's guilty until proven innocent, not innocent until proven guilty. But let's talk about Amy, or Amazing Amy, or both. Or, I don't know. Nick and Margot Dunne share a deeply intertwined relationship. As twins, they have a unique dynamic that transcends ordinary sibling relationships. They finish each other's sentences.
She always attracts these.
Drama? You can say it.
They both co-own a bar called The Bar.
Bar. Love the name. Very meta.
And they instinctively know what the other is feeling or thinking at any given moment.
You know what I keep thinking?
There's Mom, we're here.
Yeah.
A real ride or die type relationship.
It's twincest.
Even despite the fact that her brother has been heavily suspected of murder and all of the supposed evidence point to him being the culprit, she still stands by him throughout the whole thing, even willing to put herself in the spotlight to help her clear her brother's name. Their tight-knit relationship is the complete opposite to Nick's relationship with Amy. Where his bond with Margot is built upon trust and loyalty, his relationship with Amy is the opposite, which is built upon deceit and manipulation. There are many great movie psychopaths that dominate cinema, and among some of the best are Hannibal Lecter, the Joker, the other Joker,
The Joker, baby.
Anton Chigurh, Jake Gyllenhaal, but out of all of them, Amy Dunne gotta be one of the most secretly terrifying villains. I mean, the chances of you running into a psychopathic hitman with a cattle gun and a shit haircut who's obsessed with coin flips or some shit, or a clown obsessed with scars and knives and Robert De Niro, or even Jake Gyllenhaal are pretty slim. It's likely not going to happen, but the chances of you running into a sociopathic narcissist are actually pretty high, at least in comparison to the former. And a narcissist is exactly what Amy is. Amy Dunne is almost like a robot. Her mannerisms are so calculated and forced, even in the flashbacks of her made-up journal entries that are entirely fabricated to make herself look like the victim, and as such reflect the very sick mind that is Amy Elliott Dunne. There are so many expressions and mannerisms and quips and lines of dialogue that reveal how much of a psychopath she really is, but also reveals how fragmented her mind is. Sometimes she does this fake little grin. Other times, Rosamund Pike, who is British by the way, whips out this lifeless looking expression that just fills you with dread. Rosamund Pike's portrayal of Amy is crucial to this movie's success. You could probably cast another Nick or Margot or Tanner Bolt, but without Rosamund Pike as Amy Dunne, the movie simply does not work. Amy Dunne embodies what the French call the how the fuck do you pronounce this again? Amy Dunne embodies what the French call the femme fatale archetype, which quite literally translates to disastrous woman. I know this because that's what it says on Google. It's a type of female character that quite literally thrives off of destroying men, and that's exactly what Amy does. But now don't tell anybody I told you this, but there are actually many little details that you might miss here or there that actually subtly show many traits of Amy Dunne's own narcissism. Among the most interesting is how Amy consistently pushes back taking her own life. Why? Because she cannot even fathom removing herself from this world. It's not convenient to her at all. Or what about the time when she befriends a local redneck girl while watching the news cover her own disappearance? The redneck girl makes a joke on how she deserved it.
Oh, I love just once someone was like, she was a real rag.
Then when she leaves the room, Amy spits in her Mountain Dew. She is obsessed with portraying the perfect image of herself onto others. But it's really the famous cool girl monologue that Amy gives which really ties the whole movie together. What I find interesting about it is that it just reveals how fragmented her mind really is. She doesn't have an identity. She doesn't really know who she is, which is why she is almost like a chameleon who can mimic people and grasp someone's perception of who they want her to be. With Nick, it's pretending to be the cool girl. With the rednecks at the motel, it's pretending to also be a redneck.
Well, I don't know how decent I feel.
With her ex-boyfriend Barney Stinson, it's pretending to be the easily controllable girlfriend. With the cops, it's the traumatized survivor victim of abuse. She is a complete chameleon. She is constantly evolving and adapting to develop a new version of herself. For her parents, for the public, for her friends. There's amazing Amy. There's cool girl, boring girl, dead girl, gone girl. There's vengeful Amy, sad Amy, complete psychopathic, sociopathic bitch Amy. She takes on all of these different personalities, but just when her performance fails or slips up, or it doesn't reward her what she wants, she gets angry and vindicates that personality and then immediately forms another. When Amy gets robbed by the rednecks,
I don't think you've ever really been hit before.
she freaks out and then ditches that personality to suck up to her obsessed ex-boyfriend Desi Collins. But the minute that Desi starts to show some controlling behavior, robbing Amy of making many of her own choices, such as when she is watching Sharon Shieber interview her husband Nick, amid all of the misinformation and speculation on her own disappearance, Barney here takes the remote and flaunts a camera security system to her, knowing that she can't leave without him knowing. The minute the fake, lonely, hurt girlfriend persona is proven to be a problem to her ego, she says enough is enough. So she slits his throat with a box cutter. All it shows to her is that all of these mind games that she plays of these fragmented identities, that they are not real. She isn't real, and that's why she was willing to actually contemplate taking her own life in the first place. After all, you cannot kill what has never really truly existed in the first place. Since she was a child, Amy was subjected to the role of forced perfectionism. She quite literally presents a different mask of herself in order to be perfect, because she will never be amazing Amy. When she quits cello at age 10,
I quit cello. In the next book, Amazing Amy became a prodigy.
when she gets cut senior year for volleyball,
She made varsity.
I mean damn, she didn't even get a dog.
She got the dog. Puddles made her more relatable.
The idea of masks and the different identities are not just present in Amy though, but they are also present in Nick Dunne himself. Evidently, Amy putting on a fake cool girl persona of herself to hide the complete psychopathic but shallow true self, and Nick putting on the fake cool charisma guy to hide the fact that he is kind of a lazy prick, just kind of prove that they are actually kind of perfect for each other.
What?
After the media completely slanders Nick, he meets up with celebrity lawyer Tanner Bolt, and Tanner presents to Nick that they need to craft an entirely new persona to make the media second guess that he probably did not have anything to do with the disappearance of his wife. They quite literally have to make Nick put on a completely new mask of himself to make him more appealing to the public, which actually captures the fascination of Amy.
Love that watch. It's like I love this tie.
I bought that tie.
Like I love my wife.
I mean, look how her face lights up right here. What is ironic is that this is the moment that Nick Dunne finally starts to say even a slither of honesty about what he has done, which is not himself trying to portray himself as the perfect good guy.
I was trying to put a good face on.
hiding all of the flaws. That's when people start to actually like him.
Oh my god, you fucking killed it.
What I find funny is Nick would likely have had the police completely on his side had he just been honest from the beginning and said that he was thinking of divorcing Amy and that he was cheating on her with his mistress and that he wanted to have a child, but Amy said no.
Amy being pregnant would have been the best thing ever.
But he was too caught up with projecting his good guy likable persona to even think about being honest, portraying his true flawed self, which again is kind of funny because deep down they are basically perfect for each other in this sense. They were both in love with a fake version of themselves, and Nick learns to put on a different mask to the public, which Amy had perfected. And Amy gets all excited about this, but Desi says no. So she slits his throat, fakes it to the cameras, and ties rope around her wrists to make it look like he tied her to his bed, to craft an entirely new story, an entirely new persona, survivor victim Amy. I really like this scene right here too. When she returns home covered in blood with a new alibi, Rhonda Boney, the lead detective, is the only person in the room who isn't buying all the bullshit that Amy is spewing to all the other cops in the room. Even when Nick questions how she managed to stab her captor with a box cutter despite having her hands tied to the bed the whole time, Jim here doesn't even care.
How'd she manage to get a hold of a box cutter? You had her tied up the whole time. Can you just be happy your wife is home and...
Because neither the public or the media or the police actually care about the truth. They just care about the facade story because it's prettier and it's the more convenient story to the people. Just as fake Amy and fake Nick place facades of themselves onto the other, as that's the image people are attracted to. Upon her return, Nick tries to get out of the marriage, but he is forced to stay due to her now being pregnant with his child. So he freaks out.
I am leaving you.
Won't have to teach your child to hate you.
But he now takes the responsibility and accepts the fake persona he now has to portray onto the public as the now loving husband and father that is willing to become a better man. But beneath that facade hides that he is deeply terrified of what move his wife might make next. Amy Dunne is such an interesting character, and Gone Girl is such an interesting multifaceted movie, but it's really the ending scene that ties it all together for me. At the start of the movie, it opens with this.
When I think of my wife, I always think of her head. I picture cracking her lovely skull, unspooling her brains, trying to get answers. The primal questions of any marriage. What are you thinking? How are you feeling? What have we done to each other?
At the end of the movie, it closes with this.
What are you thinking? How are you feeling? What have we done to each other? What will we do?
At the beginning, Amy looks kind of hopeful, kind of happy as Nick pats her head. Contrast this with the similar scene at the end. She looks completely lifeless, vengeful even. And when she snaps her head up suddenly, Nick's hand flinches this time, almost out of fear.